Hey everybody, it's Party Elite here with another episode of Total Breakdown. This time we're going to the Silver Spire to see another battle from Lords Heroes 3 as Aristo Demos II leads the Vampire Counts of von Karstein in battle against the High Elves of Avalorn led by Lotus Moon. Check out Lotus Moon on Twitch by following the link down below, and don't forget to play Party Elite Bingo by following the link down below as well. We begin, of course, with talk of composition and deployment, and as you can see, two very large armies about to clash. Let's take a look at the Vampire Counts first. As you can see, Vlad the Dad is in charge, and he's got a front line that consists of an alternating line of Skeleton Spearmen and Skeleton Warriors. Up in the air, a pretty large air force as well, 4 units of Fellbats spread out, and we also have these Vargeists, as well as the Devils of Shorthaven, of course, the Regiment of Renown Vargeist unit as well. Back here, we've got these Blood Knights on the right flank alongside this Vargulf. Again, I think all of these just hoping to crash through and go chasing after any enemy range units that might be causing trouble, and the Blood Knights, of course, are anti-large as well, so maybe looking to shut down trees, dragons, things of that sort. Back here, meanwhile, we do have a Mortis Engine as well, able to push in and get a fair bit of anti-infantry armor-piercing damage, and of course, within a radius, when it does get engaged, it does cause that trickle damage still. Now, let's take a look at the High Elves, who have decided to deploy in a very interesting fashion here, blocking off their flanks, using the trees for cover, and also getting a little bit of Vanguard deployment. We have Alariel the Radiant in charge on horseback, and the front line consists of these 4 units of Spearmen, alongside this 5th unit, which is the Scions of Mathlan. Now, I think they're staggered like this to avoid the potential carnage of a Wind of Death, always a good idea. And in that front line as well, you can see a pair of Treekin hoping to hold that front for as long as possible, as back here, these 4 units of Archers, as well as these Sisters of Avalorn over here, are firing away. We also have the White Lions of Shrace in the trees over here, hoping to provide some protection, I think, while 2 units of Dryads are tucked away in the trees as well, hoping to creep out when push comes to shove. While up front, the Illyrian Reaver Archers are looking to get some shots in nice and early, as you can see, looking to get some damage in and kite as they fall back into safety. Let's kick things off and see how it all breaks down. Those first couple of shots pouring in, I think, to the Devils of Shorthaven, hoping to get a little bit of damage in to a very threatening unit. Again, all this airborne force here is probably there to harass any archers that might be on the field. Of course, Lotus Moon is very good at managing archers, so I think a large part of the pick here was a matter of knowing the opponent. So you can see over here we've got these Fellbats pushing off to the side over here, and over here we also have, for now at least, these Vargeist staying back, not getting too aggressive, and the army very slowly creeping forward, not pushing too far forward, but again needing to engage on the High Elves grounds, not really able to bait the High Elves out. Of course, they have the range capability, and they have these Illyrian Reaver Archers as well. Back here, meanwhile, you can see the Mortis Engine finally being pushed forward alongside the rest of the army, while up front, these Fellbats are eating a fair number of shots that might actually be intentional over here, just hoping to waste some ammunition from all of these Archers and the Sisters of Avalorn as well, ultimately needing to pull back, though, because they're taking a fair bit of damage there. You can see now these Vargeist finally given the order to pull off to the side there. The Fellbats, again, forced out to that side as well, while the Vargulf is tucking away over there as well. And over here, these Illyrian River Archers need to be very careful, as the Blood Knights have pushed forward, and again, they are anti-large, so they'll be able to push in and eliminate this unit very quickly. Now, there's a fair bit of setting up going on, as this large gap needs to be closed. Of course, Skeleton Warriors and all are pretty slow as well, so we're going to kick it up a notch or two, and you can see exactly how the Vampire Counts are slowly creeping forward as these Archers continue to fire away. Again, there are bronze shields on these Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Spears as well that have kind of changed their formation now, seeing what the enemy have on their side of the field, but the Archers, as a result, are firing away at the Fellbats as they come too close, hoping to eliminate a very tactically threatening unit. Again, these Fellbats can dive into these Archers and prevent their support from coming in, and that'll make a huge difference on the front lines. And now you can see we've got these Fellbats creeping over there, a pair of them over here, and this one staying over here, looking for an opportunity to dive in. We've got these Vargeists as well, moving off to the side, while the Blood Knights and the Vargulf are over here on that left flank as well. Very slowly, these Skeleton Warriors are creeping forward alongside these Skeleton Spearmen. Vlad is looking to get involved as well, while over here you can see the Mortis Engine, I think, is hoping to take cover in these trees, because the Mortis Engine needs to survive and get an engagement going for maximum efficiency, of course. Meanwhile, over here, a great use of Tempest, slowing down the Devils of Shorthaven and the regular unit of Vargeist over here, but also causing a great deal of magical damage. So good pick over there, great placement. Very slowly now, these Vargeist are going to try and push through that Tempest and push into the Archers, but just a good vision there, good battlefield awareness as well. But you can see now we've got the Fellbats moving in from all directions, hoping to shut down these Archers as these Skeleton Warriors get ever closer. You can see these Fellbats already crumbling away as they dive into the Archers, but at least they're able to prevent some of the fire from coming in. We've got finally these front lines engaging as the Fellbats kind of pour down into the other Archers on this right flank as well. So good timing there, trying to prevent some of those shots from coming in. And on the left as well, you can see we've got these Vargeists now pulling off further back, hoping to find some angles to dive in, while the Blood Knights as well as the Vargulf looking for an opportunity as well. Vlad, meanwhile, being focused down on all of those those archers just firing away, but Vlad is able to push through and tries to get a summon off over here, and you can see in comes some Skeleton Warriors hoping to once more just hold down some of that range support while the Fellbats on the right flank are getting some decent work done, just pinning these archers down, making sure they're not able to fire away. In comes Earthblood trying to keep that left flank alive, while you can see these Vargeist again looking for an opportunity to dive in, looking for a free unit that's worth picking off, and you'll see in a moment's time they see these archers and both of them decide to just push right through and absolutely punish these archers for not being in a safe space. We've got these spearmen right in front of them, but unfortunately right in front is not the right spot. These spearmen are far too slow to react, and those archers are just dropping extremely quickly. The charge itself gets them down to about 75% health, and then the Vargeist are going to keep beating away and hope to finish the unit off as quickly as possible, while over here you can see we've got the Mortis Engine creeping forward, hoping once more to get engaged in melee. Now again, only in melee does that ability trigger, causing damage in a radius around it, so you can see as soon as it gets engaged, these units are starting to feel the pain. We've got the Vargulf over here as well, beating away at some of these spearmen. A bit of a dangerous pick, but of course with Master of Beguilement on the spears, they're not getting any luck against the Vargulf over here, and the spears are falling apart. Meanwhile, back here you can see Terror is beginning to kick in on some of these archers back here as well. The Illyrian Reaver archers have completely given up on the fight, so wonderfully done there using the Vargeist and the Fellbats. Great efficiency there. We also have these Skeleton Spearmen pushing in against the Treekin, but the Treekin are going to hold that line very effectively, and you can see these Vargeists as well up in the air looking for an opportunity to get involved somewhere, finally picking this spot over here to dive into these archers, but in comes another Earthblood trying to keep that left flank alive. A crucial engagement going on the left flank over here. The right flank is being held. Invocation of Nehek comes in response from the Vampire Counts again, just trying to keep all of these units alive. We of course have some summoned Skeleton Warriors back here that are slowly crumbling away, so to speak, not technically speaking, and up front now the Mortis Engine is being focused down on the Sisters of Avalorn. All of those archers just firing away, hoping to eliminate the support of the Mortis Engine, not just the damage it's putting out, but also the support that it's providing to all of these units in damage and in, you know, status buffs. Meanwhile, the Devils of Shortsafen are very quickly falling apart over here. Unfortunately, they are crumbling. They need to pull out into safety. The Vargulf, meanwhile, is having an absolute field day, able to push right past these spears and beat away at these archers. You can see another attempt at getting a summon going on over here. These Skeleton Warriors come up from beneath the surface of the earth, and they get into these archers right away, again holding off some of that range support while the Star of Avalorn goes down in this, again, very crucial left flank over here, trying to keep the Treekin, I think, alive primarily, as well as the Scions of Mathlan, but unfortunately they are just outside the radius of that ability. Meanwhile, over here, these Devils of Shortsafen just barely surviving up in the air now, still crumbling at just above 400 hit points. Very quick timing there, very crucial unit to keep alive, while over here, we actually have these Skeleton Warriors and Skeleton Spearmen moving in through this very slim gap in the trees, moving around back and trying to get into these archers, and despite the Skeleton Warriors crumbling away, they're at least able to prevent fire coming in from those archers. Again, the Mortis Engine is a crucial unit, and it is being focused down upon, as you can see back here. The Sisters of Avalorn continue to fire away. The Vargulf, I think, able to defeat these archers and trying to, I think, push further through into the Sisters of Avalorn. Very crucial decision there, while over here you can see we have the Devils of Shortsafen diving in, getting the Invocation of Nehek, and now trying to pull out back into safety while another Earthblood goes down as well on the left flank. Just both armies trying to survive this battle of attrition on the left flank, while on the right, these units are all just sort of left to die. The Skeleton Warriors don't really stand much of a chance, and the Skeleton Spearmen even less so against the Treekin, who have basically taken no damage despite being up against some spears and being a large unit. Meanwhile, over here you can see the Devils of Shortsafen once again pulling back and pulling into the air, while these Vargeists as well trying to pull back into safety as these spears poke and prod away. The Vargulf, meanwhile, committing over here on the left flank, pushing in even further, eliminating another unit of archers. 44 kills on the Vargulf, 44 very important tactical kills. Back here, meanwhile, you can see we're going to have another Tempest going down, again slowing down these Devils of Shortsafen as they try to chase off these archers, but they are right at the edge of the map, so they're probably going to leave anyway. Apart from that as well, though, the Devils of Shortsafen take a great deal of magical damage once more. Hopefully they're able to weather the storm there and push through and survive, but a great cast there, great pick over there, while back here on the left flank, once more, another Earthblood goes down, again just desperately trying to keep these units alive, and of course with the Vampire Counts responding with Invocation of Nehek time and time again, of course the Battle of Attrition is very strong there, while, as I mentioned earlier, the right flank is crumbling away, literally and metaphorically speaking, for the Vampire Counts, but still able to hold those archers at bay, able to prevent their fire from coming out and coming off, basically, while Master of Beguilement goes down on these Dryads, hoping to let these Spearmen survive back there, and you can see the Devils of Shortsafen actually barely managed to survive and push through. They are still crumbling, they are taking a lot of damage still, but they want to get into the fight. They need to get a charge in for that little morale buff. I think that's the thinking over here, looking for a gap where they can get involved again, and trying to, I think, get into this clump over here, maybe fight against some of these archers before they all die off, and again hoping to clump up as well, I think, for some of that support from the Mortis Engine, as well as a well-placed Invocation of Nehek like we just got. beautifully done there. Wonderful maneuvering, wonderful work, and now these Devils of Shorthaven dive into these archers over here again, just hoping to eliminate that unit, while you can see a fair number of units back here for the High Elves just sitting back, not really doing anything. They need to push in. In comes an Earthblood to try and keep them alive once more, and another summon comes in from the Vampire Counts as well. These Skeleton Warriors back here now, again, able to dive into the backs of the Sisters of Avalorn, not only reducing their morale, but also preventing their fire from continuing. The Treekin up front now being focused down on, not only by the Mortis Engine, but also these Skeleton Spearmen, the Blood Knights, and Vladdy Daddy. And the Treekin do not stand a chance, neither do these White Lions of Shrace as they slowly start to die and wither away. That right flank still very much in favor of the High Elves, while the Vampire Counts are able to hang on for dear life. While you can see over here we have another Tempest about to come down, this time focusing in on the regular unit of Vargas, again hoping to slow them down and cause a decent bit of damage. And that Tempest does cause a lot of hurt, while back on the left we have this Earthblood going down once more, again just trying to hold that line back here. This Vargulf is falling apart, beginning to crumble finally after causing a great deal of tactical damage once more. And again, another attempt to summon another unit of Skeleton Warriors here, I believe just brought up, again just trying to keep those Sisters of Avalorn shut down, while this desperate unit of Devils of Shorthaven managing to stay alive, somehow looking for another opportunity to dive in, while the Star of Avalorn gets activated once more, trying to keep these Treekin alive, these White Lions of Shrace, as well as I think these Spearmen over here. The Devils of Shorthaven take a risky charge into the backs of these Dryads, get a little bit of damage in there, but they have to pull back into safety more or less right away, while these Dryads again push in towards these Skeleton Warriors, hoping to finish them off as quickly as possible, while Treekin are getting tossed around everywhere. That's just a Skeleton Spearman, but there's a Treekin unit there that got absolutely thrown back by the Vargulf. Excellent work there, and you can see the Vargulf once more willing to fight, no longer crumbling, coming out on top-ish in its engagements. It is surrounded by spears all around, but in come the Devils of Shorthaven once more. A nice charge into the Treekin over here, I think, just trying to provide some support, I think, to the Vargulf, pull some pressure off, while the Treekin over here are actually able to push in as well, and again, try to beat away at the Vargulf. In comes another cast of Earthblood. Very good work there, keeping these guys clumped in, using regular casts of Earthblood whenever necessary to keep these guys alive, and you can see the Skeleton Warriors over here as well now crumbling. We've got the Scions of Mithlan getting a nice side or rear charge in here. The Vargulf once more rallying to fight, not crumbling anymore. These Treekin are taking a decent beating. That Vargulf is doing a lot of work, and you can see the Mortis Engine as well getting so much work in, not just in actual combat, but also with the area around it. As I said before, Ilariel here just watching these High Elves fall, looking for a way to provide some support, while the Devils of Shorthaven once more dive into this massive clump, hoping to get some nice charges, get some decent damage in coming in from the side and from the rear, while in comes yet another Earthblood. Beautiful use of magic here, trying to keep these guys alive and fighting, but you see the Scions of Mithlan there giving up on the fight. They are routing now, falling back, while the Treekin over here do get hit by Master Beguilement once more. Great use of abilities as well from Vladdy Daddy, just keeping these units relatively neutered with zero melee attack, so that really causes a lot of trouble for units like Treekin over here, while another summon is about to come through over here. You can see these Skeleton Warriors back here, or these zombies rather, sorry, this time back here, able to push in now into these Sisters of Avalorn, while over here we have yet another Tempest coming down, I think hoping to hold these Vargas in place, slow them down significantly rather, and also just wither away at their health. They're at sub 1,000 hit points, hoping to just get them to fall, crumble, and give up on the fight. As you can see, they've been quite a helpful unit over the course of this battle. Meanwhile, the Treekin back here willing to fight once more, but just sitting there looking pretty. They need to be pushed in as quickly as possible. They do turn around more or less immediately and try to get a charge, and of course with a charge they do get the morale boost as well, and that's going to help a fair bit. But you can see over here these Vargas pulling a bit of a sacrificial move over here, diving in, while over here as well the Mortis Engine now finally in a decent bit of trouble, fully surrounded by some spears over here, as well as Ilariel hoping to get some damage done. The Mortis Engine very low on health, has done a lot of work here, again 67, 69, 70 plus kills, and I'm sure the Mortis Engine is very content, and I'm sure that Aristodemos is very content with his performance as well. While back here you can see the Vargulf again very quickly taking care of the Treekin back there, while these archers, unfortunately, these Sisters of Avalorn, unfortunately have to deal with not only zombies, but also the Vargulf as well. The Vargulf providing a much more serious threat, as you can see, tossing these Sisters of Avalorn around, but some of them are able to fire away still at the Mortis Engine over here, as the Scions of Mithlan as well coming in for a nice rear charge, hoping to finish off not only the Blood Knights, but also the Mortis Engine, get that thing to explode and die off, and actually get some support there on that left flank. You can see the right flank has very much gone, I suppose you could say, the way of the High Elves, but this left flank is extremely crucial right now. But the Mortis Engine unfortunately just about to pop. It seems like the Sisters of Avalorn continue to fire away despite the zombies, despite the Vargulf. We've got these Spearmen back here trying to take that Vargulf down. Up front over here you can see the Scions of Mithlan ultimately decide to shatter some regiment of renown. They completely give up on the fight. These Dryads too decide to rout. Ilariel gets a nice charge in there, hoping to finish off the Mortis Engine. You can see just barely hanging in there, over 139 kills now, 140 kills, but the Mortis Engine is doomed, it would seem. 33 hit points left. Another rear charge from these Spearmen now, and down goes the Mortis Mortis engine. Wonderfully done there by the High Elves, taking down a very high tier unit, a very high value target. But Vladdy, the daddy, is still looking to be the dad of this battlefield over here. He is at full health, able to take down Alarielle if he so chooses, able to push in towards these spears, these Sisters of Avalorn. Whatever he wants to kill, he can more or less kill, while back here these Treekin once more hit by the Master of Beguilement, reducing their capabilities in battle. Of course, Vlad now moving in to get engaged, I think hoping to focus in on Alarielle and take care of High Elf leadership, while back here you can see the Vargulf is still in a bit of a sticky situation, surrounded by spears. The Dryads coming in as well. Morale is dropping at critical binding right now, very close to crumbling away, but you can see Alarielle has given up on the fight. Wonderful work there as Alarielle pulls back into safety at 50% health. Vlad just needs to pick a place to dive into melee. You can see Alarielle turns back around, tries to get into this Vargulf and hopefully drop this very threatening unit, but again, Vlad is able to just dive in, pops Arcane Conduit to see if he can use magic, maybe get an Invocation of Nehek going on, and this Vargulf turns around and starts beating away at Alarielle. As back here as well, we've got these Blood Knights able to swing back into the engagement and get a fair bit of damage in. Take a look at this charge as they come through, toss these Spearmen back. Despite that Earthblood is going to do next to nothing over here. Alarielle decides to fall back into safety. She is using Earthblood to keep herself alive, as well as Arcane Conduit, hoping, I think, for another Earthblood cast, but you can see we've got some mass routes going on. These Treekin barely holding on to the fight here, shaken, very close to wavering. In comes Alarielle, hoping to provide some support, maybe drop these Skeleton Spearmen over here. Vlad, of course, is able to just turn around and deliver a beating to Alarielle if she stays this close. The Vargulf as well getting a lot of work done. Of course, these Blood Knights as well now able to take care of the Treekin. The Treekin decide to give up on the fight, and Alarielle again pulling back into safety, hoping to rally the troops, I think, hoping to bring them back into the fight, but you can see everybody is just turning around, focusing down on Alarielle, chasing her down as she tries to retreat into safety. In comes the Vargulf again, just beating away. She is recovering in morale ever so slightly, but of course a terrible situation for her to be in as Vlad closes the gap here, and again, he's going to absolutely beat her down in one hit, taking off maybe 33% of her health. The Sisters of Avalorn now from a distance, they have rallied, they're firing away. Again, this I think is what Alarielle was hoping for, that some of these units would rally. We've got these Dryads, these Spearmen, and these Sisters of Avalorn firing away. She's pulling back once more, Alarielle hoping to get some damage in, but unfortunately, it's far too late, and a Pyrrhic victory for the von Karsteins. A battle of attrition here, with Earthblood going up against the Invocation of Nehek, and it seems 88 Vampire Count survivors is the balance of said battle. When front lines get locked like this, every little decision with airborne units, cavalry, and ranged units makes a huge difference, and of course, magic and abilities as well. The placement of spells needs to be spot on, especially summons, and the use of units like the Mortis engine with its 144 kills and supporting capabilities can be a complete game changer, as we saw. As always, make sure you subscribe to this channel for more Total War content and keep sending in those battle replays. I do think it's one of the best ways to learn, and it's always nice to highlight such amazing battles from the community. I'd also like to thank all of my patrons for supporting this channel every month. It makes a huge difference, and it helps the channel stay alive. Thank you all very much for watching. I'll see you on the battlefield.